soon as you're ready, Terry, please let me know.
Well, we got
You're
a
fine.
technical issue. It says
That's
something about
fine.
a battery pack, and I don't know nothing about that thing.
Is it plugged into the wall?
I just checked that because I was wondering that too.
It's not lit up, it doesn't look like.
No, but it is plugged in down there.
Is that on? Carl or Mike? I'm gonna blame Mike on this one. Really? Yeah.
Something popped. Is it working now?
We got Mike.
There we go.
Okay, would everybody please rise and say the pledge with me? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm glad nobody took a knee. Okay. Public comment?
I don't have any complaints yet this week.
Okay.
Like that? That was almost as good as you're doing a fine job, wasn't it?
Anything, anybody else? Okay, we'll proceed to committee reports. Seems like I always start with you, but your honor, your honor.
We got a couple things. I don't know that we had the air handling unit above the state's attorney's office leaked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen the floor. We basically, rather than recarpet, we took everything up. Bob sanded the floor, and it looks pretty nice. They're real happy with it.
Oh, I knew that was gonna be an issue.
I really think we need to put some condensation pans under some of the units up in there so that we don't have that thing happen again.
Is that difficult to do?
It's difficult. I've done a little bit of checking with, I've been working with Parish Refrigeration on just to see what they can come up with. They actually have what they call it's a system where you actually put a small sump and it's power condensate. You
Right.
remove the water by power. You
Right.
can actually pump it into a plumbing line and do away with just the regular drains. Something we're looking into. He's working on that right now. The one above the, I'm trying to think, it's kind of above the now the law library, the courtroom 3. There's a double system up there. Two of them that are right next to each other, which would be kind of a complicated system to make. He said it can be done, but when he gets figures together on that, I'll get with you and let you know. I may know by Wednesday. Bob called me, I guess it was Thursday, and said he wanted me to come look at a piece of the bell tower right along the bottom where we had some wind that had blown some of that. That's a metal shell all the way around that, and actually separated in the corner a little bit. And so I went up and we looked at it. I'm gonna get a hold of the company that actually did the work. It's out in Lima, Ohio, I think, and see how they, it almost looks like there was some kind of it doesn't look like it was soldered, but it looks like they used some kind of a compound to put that.
Fuse it?
Yeah, so I want to see what they've got. Someone would have to get out there and put that on there and
Draw that back
to
together.
draw back together. Now, there are a lot of that flashing all along the bottom of that bell tower has been nailed on. A lot of the nails are loose. In fact, you can pull them out with your fingers, some of them.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'll hold rope for you, Andy.
Huh?
I'll hold rope for you.
Don't look down, that's the big thing. I'm looking in fact, I just found out about this Thursday. I had a busy weekend, couldn't do anything until today, but I'm gonna go see if I can't maybe get some, they're basically, I don't know if you remember when they used to put together the old metal buildings, they used a ring shank with a rubber seal that you
Sure,
pushed
what,
in.
we still use them on
And
pulleys.
they, although now a lot of what they use are screws.
Right.
With the
That's
same, they got
But they
a
have-
gasket behind it, you
Right.
screw it in,
Right.
which I think would help in that.
If the
what's
screws
done
will
is-
hold.
I think the screws will hold much better than,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
we can pull the ring shanks out with your fingers, some of them.
That, I would have thought that they should have, even a few years ago, been
Wouldn't you
using
thought,
screws.
I kinda thought that too. but they're all nailed.
Up on the bell tower, on the flashing.
And I think you can get along, I mean, you can lean out the windows, Bob and I were leaning out the windows and looking. And
Just thinking about it gives me.
I think-
Oh, yeah. Everything rotten up there.
Like I said, don't look down.
I'm getting dizzy in my chair thinking about it.
So I'm gonna see if I can get some almond, I called over to said, I wanna order some almond colored screws. And they said, well, we don't have almond, we have sandstone beige and all this, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just go pick it out
Fashion
and then tell you to
design.
order some of them. So I'm gonna go over this afternoon and try to get some screws. I think Bob can actually lean up, I mean, it's not, you can lean out and get some, but it's something we need to look at. So I noticed when I was up there, the roof, the second roof is a metal roof on that bell tower. It probably needs to be recoated. It's got a few cracks.
Already.
that are-
Already?
Yeah,
That was just 3 years ago, 4 years
it was
ago.
longer, what year was that?
I don't know, I lose track of time. That was 12, wasn't it?
It was probably, was it 12? Was it 12?
think so.
I told you
Okay,
the
that's 4 years ago.
courthouse in Terre Haute, there's a guy hanging out painting that roof, a bell tower. I don't know what company it was, but he was on a ladder thing, sitting on the thing and painting.
Skyhook.
I don't know who did it.
I mean, that's something we're gonna have to keep in mind, that even though, yeah, 4 years, that's a long time to be up against
A
the
lot of
elements.
freezing and thawing.
That's a lot of freezing and thawing. So anyway, I'm looking into that right now, maybe by Wednesday I'll have a little more too about
Got any
some
people in jail
questions,
to
some
do that
answers to
with?
some questions. Thanks.
Something you'd like to put up.
Other than that,
I had something, the Kreckman building, when you walk in the Kreckman building, it is not organized, it used to look nice. That's one issue. We need to get, either through your committee, working with Bob and the sheriff, we need to get that whole area cleaned out up front, get it on a deal where it's at least being vacuumed once a month or something like, something.
Even outside the doors.
Right,
Missed it.
but there needs to be, I think and I know what we're doing is we're just bringing stuff in and just dumping it there.
That's right.
And we've got, the other thing is, and Alan and I have talked about it, in fact, I think I've had discussions with others, we need to come up with an idea. I think we need to either use Kreckman or sell it.
Okay, yeah.
And I think before it's gonna continue to deteriorate if we don't sell it or come up with a plan. And so I don't know what, that's just my opinion.
You ever talked to Doug Cochran?
I did talk to Doug, and then I had said something, I think at one of the meetings, that we kinda need to figure out, I mean, what's it worth?
Yeah, the praise.
What's what worth? What is it worth?
But-
That's what it was when it was taken off the tax rolls.
What does it say? I can't read it.
About 2 million?
221,000.
I can't remember. I looked at it like 15
21,000,
times.
something like that.
Well,
Oh, yeah, valuation, total, yeah.
About 221,000, something like that.
but it may not be worth that much
I don't
now.
know. That's why I don't know.
Well, I think we just need to move in a direction that,
Yeah.
we'll have to move stuff out and rent a place and get all that debris.
Take up all the carpet, because I know there's something,
Well, that's up for somebody else. We don't wanna talk about all of that.
okay,
That's just gonna,
I
the
understand.
buyer needs to
Well,
determine what it needs to be.
Right.
And don't forget, there's some value in all that stuff stored in that back building too.
Well, is that something we need to sell? Can we
Well,
have a sheriff's
you know,
sale?
somebody just needs to take the bull by the horns and go back there and say, we're keeping this, we're pitching that, and then get an auctioneer to lined up and let's just get rid of it. I mean, you've been there, I've been there, just
Well,
tons of,
that's the bad thing about it. I mean, we're always picking out of there, you know, we need this, well, it's out there, and we go get it. You know, we sell it and we start buying new stuff, or, I mean, start all over and have another warehouse full of stuff.
Well, I don't think we need to sell everything.
yeah, but there's some things out there that probably don't, you know, like all the old copy machines and all that
Some
stuff.
of them
It
probably
just
just need,
You know,
I sell that.
hits.
there's a reason you took it out there, just because you didn't know what to do with it at that point.
Yeah.
Old copy machines, old computers, they're not worth
No.
anything.
or nothing, right?
If we haven't used something in a year,
It's,
what do they say about your closet?
Yeah, you see.
But
That's,
we just need to do something, you know, as collectively. And we need to give the sheriff cooperation, and if we're not gonna use that building like it should be used, then we need to call a real estate agent, or advertise it, or have an auction, or something. Whatever's the legal way, and I'm not quite sure what the legal way is, but
It's a newer building, we could turn it into a jail annex.
Yeah.
Start, put some bars in there. So, yeah.
I thought about that. If we had 2 or 3 more than properties around there, we could probably pull it off.
well, at any rate, we do need to clean up the front area. Okay, and keep it nicer. And we're gonna have to if we're gonna show it or sell it, so maybe we need to, is it okay?
Can we legally lease part of it to a private industry?
Well, then we'll have to put a part of it, we'll have to put the whole thing back on the tax rolls. I mean, you can't lease it and collect money and then keep it off the tax rolls.
Okay.
Yeah, they can just measure whatever part of it you're leasing.
I know, but I mean, we have turned down several different outfits for that, thinking that we need to do something one way or the other. And you don't wanna get a tenant in there and then have somebody come up and wanna buy the place. So can we look into what it would take and what the legal obligations are that we have to, on the deal? Do you have anybody that's still interested, like we?
Quasi, but you know, I don't think until you know, really comes to, push comes to shove, it'd be ideal, it's like any other thing. If a couple people would be interested, I think that may step up the process.
I just wondered if we may find out what we had to do and actually took a stand on it, saying we were gonna move on this thing one way or the other, that might generate some interest.
'Cause, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't think, I think we've just sat on it for so long, I think most people think we're just gonna always talk about it and not,
Well, okay, then we,
you know.
I think the first thing you gotta do is figure out what it's worth. Somebody,
Well,
somebody, I mean, somebody.
This gives you some idea, I mean, when you're talking about assessment, I talked to Dina a little bit about it one time, I apologize, I can't remember everything she said, but it was how much they paid for in taxes, and I had that written down here someplace anyway. I mean, it's like, you know, we're losing thousands of dollars in taxes every year by that building not being there, to the point of where, we talked about, we could put a pole barn and probably have that paid off pretty quickly for the amount that we're losing
on that.
in taxation. I mean, if you're just looking for someplace to store, excuse the expression, junk.
we could
You know.
put a pole barn up here, I'm sure we could
Yeah.
find room.
Yeah.
Would you have to go through a realtor?
That's what I need.
I
I
don't
need to
know
find
that you
out.
necessarily have to, but I think
Okay,
anybody that
that
wants
is-
to buy it's gonna, the first thing they're
Yeah.
gonna say is,
Right.
yeah, I'm interested, what do you want?
Right,
Right.
exactly.
So you gotta have a point of
I mean, anybody.
departure there, you know, here's what we're asking,
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Okay. All right, we'll proceed with that and we'll get something to the board, okay? That's all I had under building grants. Mr. Brennan.
Animal shelter stopped in last week, got the new faucet, new washer, the pins are repaired. Other than that, good shape.
Space
Called-
alien.
Called Janet the other day, we had an issue at the hospital, there was a lady called lab, or called the hospital, wanted to know if she could get rid of her, she's diabetic, so wanted to know if we could dispose of her needles. And I guess hospital, from what I know, will not take them. I called Janet, the health department won't take used needles, and I was gonna ask Jeff, I know you take medicine and so forth, do you take used needles? Okay, so we got a problem.
Needle either.
But they can just box it up and put it in the trash as long as it's a, what do you call it?
A sharps container.
Sharp container, yeah, so, I don't know. But Janet said no, they don't take, which is probably good. We had an ESBA meeting last week, a couple minor issues, that was basically taken care of. So other than that, I don't think there's any problems.
Any questions? Michael?
No.
Alan?
You trying to shoot yourself in the eye, or what are you trying to?
I feel like there's about 14 pounds of plug just right up here, all over the place.
Ooh.
grandkids.
I think we got,
Yeah.
yeah.
Aren't they lovely?
Well, I think what they did, they passed that on to old grandpa. He's not used to being around kids again, so they're
How
going.
about grandkids?
I think we got most things taken care of with our health insurance. Appreciate all the help that everybody did on that, trying to figure all that stuff out. Long and arduous journey. Coming up in December, we have property and casualty coming up.
Something like this, Gary.
Yeah. And airport needs to be touched on, Derek here. That's by September 25th. I believe we're looking for the application process to be undone by that, or on top of it by that time for airport. I think that's about it.
Okay, any questions? Derek,
Big public hearing tonight on the zoning issue.
what time did you jump?
5:30.
5:30.
Be there, be square.
Where at?
At the courthouse.
Which courtroom, up or down?
Questions.
Sounds good.
Oh,
We
downstairs.
gotta swear people in,
For what?
make sure their testimony's truthful.
Oh. I hadn't really thought about that. It's not really my show. but
Have a stenographer there.
You work on that, you find a stenographer, more than welcome to sit in.
I'm just asking.
Is it
All
required?
great questions.
It's not required that they be sworn in, but
Then we won't do it.
if you don't swear them in, you can't hold them to what they're saying.
So, if all the documentation's in place, there's no major issues that come up in the public hearing, and then we'll talk about it at the county board meeting on Wednesday. And we'll see where it goes. We may have to reset and have another one here in a little bit. See how
It is
shakes out.
on the agenda.
That's all we got.
Mr. Chairman, I think the county calendar says there's also an advisory board meeting at 6:30.
Is the airport meeting tonight?
I don't know, I haven't heard anything from
I
Joe.
haven't heard anything.
It's on the calendar.
What? Anything else?
There's two recommendations for the.
There are two
Advisory
appointment advisory.
I know Spencer, who's the other one? Not familiar with him. Spencer,
Blake Stiff is Billy
Yeah.
Stiff's boy from
Yeah.
Kansas.
He's younger, probably younger than me.
I know. Okay.
Is there a cutoff date for people that want to apply for that position?
I mean, so the two are on there right now, we need a third still.
So, but if somebody wanted to put their name in, they
Yeah, let's go through Joe.
Okay, then I've got several things. I gave you a copy of the budget. We're doing pretty well. The collections are at 79% for the tax money. Tax bills are due on Friday. If you want to avoid the embarrassment and everything else, and the persecution of being in the paper and all that stuff. But at any rate, it is on Friday. Right now, the budget's looking okay. Our expectations of income are gonna be pretty close. And our expectation of expenditures are gonna be a little lower than what we thought, so I'm not willing to predict yet. I don't usually start predicting until October where we're gonna be. And you never know with the state as far as what they're looking at. The levy, rough draft of the levy is been given to Terry for her to enter into the computer, and so we can start looking at a draft on that. We have received, I think, all budget from the department heads except for the health department, which will get us, which isn't a big deal, but they'll get it to us after this coming week. And then we'll hopefully have the budget out to you guys, a rough draft, at the end of the week or the first of next week, okay? So we're on that road. Any questions about that? As far as health insurance, I talked to Terry and asked if there'd been any comments. And unless you've gotten anything, we really haven't. I think you've only got, what, 5 turned in at this point, unless you've got some more. Carl did talk to me and said he had heard from 2 or 3 people who had voiced concerns that we had had an uneven hand as to far as how we were offering insurance to people. In other words, the ones that are going with the PPO third option were only getting 50, and they thought that that was unfair since we were offering $100 for the HSAs. But,
The
and
premium
Carl,
less for that one, right?
I'm sorry, sir.
The premium was less for that option than the others.
Yes,
That's
but
right.
they still thought that we were not handling even-handed. And I think Carl would like to talk about that for the future, and I told him I would discuss it with you. I think we need to be sensitive to comments, and that's why I called Terry this morning to
Try
find out,
to
and
keep
then,
everybody even. if we can.
well,
As best we can.
right, we need to consider those things. I still think the budget's gonna offer us an opportunity to consider some increase in actual wages, but I mean, that remains to be seen yet, okay? But, at any rate, we'll just have to look at that, and then we'll have a budget meeting, a committee meeting, which we are all on the budget committee, and then we can hammer that out. I think probably Carl and whoever else is on the sheriff's committee may want to sit down and make sure they're in tune with what the sheriff's doing. Most of the other departments are a little bit more straightforward, but I know the sheriff's looking for support and like everybody to understand what his plan is so that we can move forward and there's no issues throughout the year. And his budget looks good. So at any rate, that's where we're at on that. The enterprise zone, I don't know whether you saw the paper this weekend, but we had a meeting on Thursday, and I just want to, there's no action needed by the board at this time, but there was a memorandum of understanding for tax abatement, and because of the inexact nature of the description of jobs, plus, minus, and all that, we've asked for clarification. So, and we have a meeting coming up this Thursday. We just want to clarify what position they're in as far as jobs, and it was not clear based upon what they had said. So in case you had any questions of me or anything, we just kind of tabled it for a week, and hopefully they'll get us some clarifications on the net increase in jobs. For example, when they took over from Coshocton, how many people were there? And now, how many people are there? And how many people are gonna be in the future? So you have, and that was not clear. So, sure, I'm real popular, but, we've gotta ask those questions.
That's right.
We're gonna evade taxes, we've gotta know the effect that it's gonna have on our community and our county. We do have a new business that's opening up. I don't know the road, but they're under construction. What they are is not a party center, but they're a meeting place, okay? And it's north in the county. You probably heard about it.
I've heard about it.
Mattingly's are putting in a big facility that could be used for wedding receptions, anniversaries,
Party barn.
well, that too, but I'm thinking you can also have auctions there. In other words, it's an auction party, and they're wanting to know what, if any, and Augie and the liquor commissioner or commission over in Springfield, we're trying to get everybody together. We are permitted to give out 5 licenses, okay, and they could either be a regular license like you have, or it could be an event license like Castle Finn has. So we're trying to get them married up. We worked on it this morning a little bit, and of course Augie's down in Springfield, but we're gonna get everybody together on the phone or whatever tomorrow morning and make a determination, and if we have to recommend to the board a new license, we will do that, but they also they will have to have a state license also, so. Anyway, want to make you aware of that, so you weren't sidelined.
Where are we at right now? 3 or 2?
Two licenses. Castle Finn and Andrews. Yeah. So we have 3 licenses, and that's by
Right, what
ordinance.
we're saying, there's room for everybody.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Delos Bar and Grill, I like it.
At any rate, that's what I have.
I have a question.
Please.
On the agenda, there's 13. I just want to understand, it says resolution from Joseph E. Meyer, County Tax Agent, authorizing you, Mr. Chairman, to execute deed of conveyance to the following parcel. Are we selling that? I'll give you an example. Troy T. Edgar, who I have up to New, does he own something that we're taking?
No, it's just the opposite.
Okay, so we're selling that to him.
That's correct.
I-
Those are conveyances to the following people,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
And I did check, there was some issues on a couple of them, and they have been cleared by the attorneys.
Okay.
In other words,
So these people
satisfaction-
on this list are buying those from the
That's
taxes?
my understanding,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Okay, that's all, I just didn't understand what that
No,
was.
that's fine, and yes, sir.
I was gonna ask Jeff, do you have anything to do with the security of the hospital? Did you work on that?
I don't have anything.
I say we
I don't
used
even know
one the
what-
other night, so it's really nice. They work from 12 to 12. And it's sheriff deputies, police department, so we did have to use one the other night. So I know we don't have too many problems, but when we do, it's nice to have somebody around.
They're supposed to have their own security, Dan.
It
My
comes out
understanding.
their road, I think, is
Well,
something.
That's what we were told, you know, for a while, we tried to work out different deals, and
Yeah,
my
I didn't
understanding,
know
talking
how it
about
worked out.
Holly, that like they're just gonna pay for their own
Okay.
security, and
I knew we had.
they'll
sheriff
probably
deputies.
hire deputies,
Right.
local police, and whoever else they need
I
to
didn't know
cover.
if it went through the sheriff department or the police department or anything.
Not
It's
supposed to.
nice to have them. So.
Okay, as far as the agenda, you know about the highway resolution, we have some appointments to drainage districts. Let's see, we've got those conveyances. The honeybee wants to know, to make sure that they can use the lawn. And I assume that the sheriff has seen that, or if you've been aware, the request the Kiwanis Honeybee Committee to use the courthouse lawn from 5 PM on Wednesday through the 21st, or the evening, let's see, 25th. So,
Yeah.
okay. And then Mary Metcalf to the Housing Authority. And of course, we have the 2 appointments to the advisory board out at the airport, and then zoning, and any other issues that might come up as far as reports. But that's basically outlines the action we're gonna take. Any questions on anything there? Make sure you look at your bills, make sure you're satisfied, everything's like you thought. I guess that's it. Anything else? I don't think there's any requirement for a closed session, is there? Well, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Andy seconds. The motion was made by Derek. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned, and I thank you all.